Creepy encounters. Scary dog privilege. A few weeks ago I was walking my dog later at night before bed. He's an English black lab, so he's pretty big and can look intimidating. He's very friendly though. I was only like a block away from my house when this black car pulls up next to me. It started to match my walking pace and stayed next to me. My dog was on my right side, and he blended in with the darkness, so you couldn't see him from the street, as well as he was being hidden by the parked cars. I started to panic a little, as the car just slowly stayed next to me. When I got to the end of the block, my dog walks in front of me and stares towards the car, letting me know he wants to cross the street. At this point the car just speeds off. I immediately went home, and I haven't walked him at night since. I think I was almost kidnapped this morning. I started a new job this month, and my workplace is only 2 blocks away from the bus stop, with one of those blocks being a public sports place with a public pool and running tracks, etc., that I always go through instead of around because it's shorter and busier, so I feel safe. However, the next block is quite lonely, with not a lot of traffic from cars or people. This morning, I was about to cross the street and an SUV stopped. I didn't find it weird because I thought the driver was being kind, letting me cross before continuing on their way. After that, I kept walking really slowly because I always make sure to arrive exactly on time. And I was like 5 minutes early today. As I was about to turn right, I suddenly realized that the same SUV was a little bit in front of me, almost at my side. Turning right really slowly. My workplace is surrounded by houses in a decent neighborhood, so when I saw him driving slowly, I just assumed he was going to park in front of his house. However, he did stop, and I thought, oh well, maybe he has to open the porch, but instead of getting out of the car, he just stayed there. That freaked me out, but I kept walking, like I said, really slowly. When I was about to be at the side of the car, I didn't know what to do. Should I run, walk normally until I pass him, or what? So I started walking more quickly, and when I was at the side of the car, he waved or did a sign at me, and I didn't catch it clearly. I ignored him and finally passed him, but once I did, he started the engine again, so he was right by my side. I finally arrived at my workplace, and he stopped again. I quickly rang the bell. I can actually open the door from the outside, but I didn't want him to see how. Also, by ringing the bell, I was basically telling other people to come outside for me. Immediately after I rang the bell, he accelerated and left. I feel really bad for not trying to memorize his license plate number or even remember his face. I really hope no other girl has to go through this. Even if I had all his information, I'm from a third world country, so the police won't do anything about a potential creep. Now I'm scared. What if he comes back? What should I do? He knows where I work. Sorry for my bad formatting, I'm on my phone. Car ride creep. I was in the car driving for a while, and for the last 45 minutes, a car was following me. I had taken to full circulars around some random place to make sure they were following me. They were. I pulled into a gas station to see also, and they pulled in too. I didn't stop the car and left. They didn't keep following me, probably because there were a lot of people, but it was scary. Norwegian creeps. Okay, so this is so many years ago, but it still creeps me out. When I was around 1339 now, I went on a school trip skiing to Norway. My fantastic mum sent me off with fun sizes Mars bars to eat on the slopes. Didn't end up needing them, and ended up selling them for local kids out our dorm window. One night, however, we heard a creepy childlike voice, clearly a groany *** man calling out, "Little Boz, little Boz, would you like to play a game?" The word game was drawn out, still gives me the creeps. All these years later, followed home after getting off train. Hey, one live in Melbourne, Australia, western suburbs. It's the bad part of town. I don't have a car, so I rely on public transportation. I went to go see a friend who lives literally in the CBD. What Americans call downtown. I live 9 stations away from that. I got to my station at 11 p.m. I am a male, 28 years old, and usually don't worry about walking at night, stuff like that, etc. The walk home from the station is about 25 minutes. It's up a main road, then I turn off into my road and walk a bit further. As I was walking down the main road, I noticed someone who was walking behind a little further away me. I thought nothing of it. He was the only one around since it was late on a weekday. I kept track of him, and he bolted towards me. Then stopped, did some strange mannerisms like with his hands, I can't describe it. Then stopped again, just standing there. I was so scared. I started to walk faster to get home. As I got to the point of me having to walk in my street, I was thinking, for the love of Christ, please still don't be following me. But my heart sank to the floor when I saw him also turn the corner. I bolted as fast as I could, but he caught up to me. I was frozen in fear. He was wearing camo pants and a black hoodie covering his whole face. He was honestly the creepiest looking man I've ever seen. When he took off his black mask he was wearing, he never hurt me, but he said, "I've been watching you for a while. You shouldn't walk around at night next time. I won't be so forgiving." And did some strange facial expressions, jumped up, hand down, and then bolted away. I made it home. I was so scared I called my dad. And he told me to never walk home again at night, especially that late at night. I told him I always do it. He said I should know better. I'm happy he didn't find the house I live in, because he caught up to me when I was about halfway there. I'm not going to walk home at night ever again. A man followed me to my front door. This happened about 10 years ago, when I was around 18 years old. I had met up with some friends after work and was making my way home around 11 p.m. I wasn't far from my house when I walked past a man going the other way. I noticed that he stopped and looked at me before turning around to follow me in the opposite direction to where he had been going. I thought it was weird, but I am fairly oblivious sometimes, so rather stupidly just kept walking home. At the time, my front door was in a badly lit alley, and it was as I turned down there, I noticed this man was still following me. He was keeping his distance, but I saw him peeking around the corner of the street as I started walking down. Now I may be oblivious, but someone staring at me from behind the corner after following me for a while was enough to set me off. I panicked and decided I just wanted to get somewhere safe. I started quick walking into the alley to get to my door as quick as possible. My brother was a fisherman at the time, who often brought his work home. So we had a few large fishing weights about 1 foot long and 1 inch thick by our front door. Still in fight or flight mode, I picked one up and turned to face the front of the alley. When the man turned to enter the alley, I looked at him and shouted, "Excuse me, why the hell are you following me?" Looking back now, maybe wasn't the best move, but thankfully worked. He turned around and left. The whole thing shook me up a little, so I went home and crashed from the adrenaline. Thankfully I never saw the guy again, so this is all just a distant memory now. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe.